Yo, whether you watching this from Facebook, Twitter, click the link in my Instagram, moviepilot.com, or YouTube itself. What up, world? Man, so it is June. It is movie talk. I can't specifically remember how long I've been talking about this, but I decided for my movie talk I was gonna switch it up and talk about some TV this month. I will give y'all what very well may be the hardest list I have ever put together, man, and that is my 10 favorite TV series, man. No sitcoms, man. No Fresh Prince. No Friends, no How I Met Your Mother, no Martin, no Big Bang Theory. That's gonna be a future video. It may be a month away, it may be 10 years away. Whenever I feel like I'm ready to knock that out, I'll do that. Jumping right in, man. There were so many shows that I was considering. I watch a lot of TV. I like a lot of series, but I had to narrow it down to my 10 favorite shows of all time, basically. Some that barely missed the cut are like Californication, Fargo, The Newsroom, Power, Weeds. I love all those shows. You know, some of them had some great seasons, some of them had some iffy seasons, but those are shows that maybe except like The Newsroom. I think The Newsroom low key was great, but it just didn't make the list. Everything else was like good, not great. Had a couple filler seasons. Like Showtime, man. Californication and Weeds could have easily made this list. Nurse Jackie was in contention, but Nurse Jackie I think overall was good, not great. Californication has like the first 4 seasons are all great TV, and then 5, 6, and 7 are all, well, damn, we got to prove for another season. Let's come up with something. Let's give Hank a love interest to push him to next year. And then if that's the last season, then that's the last season until he finally, like the cover of the last season of Californication DVD was him literally riding off into the sunset. And then same thing with Weeds, man. Like Weeds first 3, maybe 4 seasons. Like I think the first 3 where she's in that domesticated neighborhood slanging little dime bags and shit. I think those are great seasons with Romany Malco. And then when she ends up in Mexico, those are good. But then like what 6, 7, and I think 8, she ends up on the run. And those are filler seasons to just get to the next year in case they get greenlit. But let's get into my official list, man. At number 10, one of my homeboys is gonna kill me that this is at 10 and not at number 1 because it's his favorite show ever. But I would justify to you why I feel like it's number 10, and that is Dexter. Dexter's first 4 seasons are some of the best TV I have ever watched. The Ice Truck Killer. I don't even think 2 really has a pro antagonist because it's really just Dokes trying to prove that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. And then 3, I don't know if season 3 has a antagonist either because he ends up with Jimmy Smits, Miguel Prado, and they go from friends to enemies. But then the Trinity Killer is one of my favorite seasons. Season 4 of Dexter with John Lithgow is one of my favorite seasons of TV of all time. I absolutely love that season, man. Performance is top notch all around. I think that's when Rita like tells him she's pregnant, and he's dealing with shit. I'm gonna be a dad, but Dexter. I should have said that shit from the beginning. For those of y'all that haven't seen Dexter, he is like a CSI blood splatter analyst. He goes to a crime scene, blood's on the wall, blood's on the carpet. He'll tell you from what angle the injury came from. Knife, cheek, boom, at like a 72-degree angle, it hit the wall like that. Like it's crazy. And it gets away from that. Like he would creep into, because he's got these rules and all this mess, man. He would creep into like courtrooms, and if he felt that the defendant got away with a crime, he would take it upon himself to make sure that he still got punished. And then what? You get to season 5, and that's when the show started to go downhill, man. Because like I don't know if they like if the writers got switched, if there was a new showrunner, but it became mundane, man. It became repetitive, and each season had a new villain. You know, the Barrel Girls, Johnny Lee Miller, then Colin Hanks in season 6. Season 7 was the dude who played the Punisher in Warzone, Ray Stevenson, and then 8, the final season. The final season had a couple twists, man, but it was. I don't want to get too into anything that anybody hasn't seen, but it was just like new adversary in love interest. Like I don't feel like Dexter needed a love interest at all, and then they went down some weird paths, and then the end, man, the series finale for Dexter is the episode of all TV that I think I hate more than anything. I so fucking hated the season finale, the series finale of Dexter. It is fucking horrible. And like I've heard rumors of revival, man, but I don't think you can. I just don't see how. The way they cut it off, like yeah, like it could happen, but then this was supposedly happening. Oh, you back? Oh, now people are magically dying again. But we was boys, but now I see what was really going on. 3 episodes in, and Dexter's caught. If you're gonna watch Dexter, I recommend watching the entire series, but just heed my warning that it goes from epic TV to watchable to a trash series finale within 8 seasons. At 9, I got what I feel is one of the most underrated TV shows ever, and that's Boardwalk Empire. It's produced by Martin Scorsese and Mark Wahlberg. Martin Scorsese directed the pilot. Steve Buscemi kills it as like a dude who ends up being the biggest gangster in town. And it takes place in New Jersey during Prohibition, and liquor's illegal, and it's like Al Capone gets involved, Lucky Luciano gets involved, all type of like real life gangsters are in this show, and I think it ran for 5 seasons, and I loved the first 3.5 to 4, and then season 5 is watchable, and the finale wraps up Nucky Thompson, Steve Buscemi's story. I was satisfied with the ending, but the season overall is kind of just good. But Boardwalk Empire is a show that I be trying to put boys on left and right, and it keeps getting swept under the rug. At number 8, I got House of Cards. Probably one of only I think 2 like that I'm counting Netflix shows I have on this list, because it's really like the only one of really 2 Netflix oriented properties that I watch. Kevin Spacey is great as Frank Underwood. He's such a fucking savage, man. Frank Underwood is a scumbag. And no spoilers, please, because I still haven't watched season 5. I'm only up to season 4, where he was. If you haven't seen it, he's a politician, and he literally achieves his goals by any means necessary. And Robin Wright from Wonder Woman, from Princess Bride, from Forrest Gump plays his wife, and she is almost as savage as he is. And my prediction is in season 5 that she end up being as savage as she is. I don't know if that sentence grammatically made sense, but it made sense in my head. House of Cards, even though I have Netflix, House of Cards is one of those shows that I'm trying to own eventually. At 7, I had one show, but last minute I swapped it out. At 7, I got Mad Men. And Mad Men is about really one dude. John Hamm plays the main character, and he's an ad executive, and it takes place in the '60s over the course of how many years? I want to say from like the late '60s to maybe the mid '70s. And like the cast is great. It's on the same channel as The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad was. And now like Turn, the Washington Spy shit, Preacher. Mad Men ended maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It started before Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead. John Hamm plays Don Draper. He starts the show married with 2 kids, and he's got a past. And if I'm not mistaken, they don't fully explain everything that led to what he ended up doing. Like that's a prequel. That's a prequel show on its own. Don Draper's early years, but he ends up being like one of the best ad executives at the company he works for, and we're along with him for his career, for the characters around him. Man, the cast is so strong. Elizabeth Moss is in it. The dude John Slattery, who currently he didn't start off not in Iron Man 2, but in like movies later on, Captain America, Civil War, Ant-Man, and so on. He ends up playing Howard Stark, man, Iron Man's dad. Christina Hendricks is in it. And then like smaller minor roles, man. Alison Brie has like a smaller minor role. I think Linda Cardellini, Nev Campbell. It's just a great show. At 6, I got Shameless on Showtime, and it's still running. Is man, William H. Macy, man. He plays the father of this family, and like he's like the lowest form of human being, man. Every award and accolade that William H. Macy gets, nominations, wins, is all deserved, man. 'Cause his performance as Frank Gallagher is great. It's epic, man. Cause he's one of these dudes. He stoops. Yeah, I mean, Shameless, man. Like, he stoops to new lows every single season to get out of any type of responsibility. So that leaves Fiona, Emmy Rossum, as like the breadwinner, the head of household. And I mean, I think my least favorite season is when she just like went through this fuck it phase, and like her decisions just impacted everybody, man. From Lip, Ian, Carl, Debbie, Veronica, Kevin. Like it's a strong cast, interesting characters. I can't wait. I want to know when the next season starts. Now that I'm thinking about it, man, because I haven't heard an announcement, and I'm looking forward to that shit. But yeah, like it's arguably the best show, that the most consistent, not the best overall, but the most consistent show that Showtime has ever put out. At 5, I got Game of Thrones. I know this is a lot of motherfuckers won. It's new, it's current, it's fresh, it's popular, man. So a lot of people are on the nuts of Game of Thrones. And I love Game of Thrones too, man. It's just not my favorite TV series of all time. There are like literally there are like 379 characters in this show from season 1 to present day. The next season starts in like 3 weeks. And I could tell you the name of maybe like 5 characters, man. I'll give you Daenerys, Arya, Sansa, Jon Snow, Cersei, Jaime, Tyrion. That's more than 5. The Hound. Um, I can't remember the chick that is in the Fast and Furious movies. I can't remember her name. There's Littlefinger. I'm trying to remember. Grey Worm. And then like this is I can't go into any detail. Every single frame of this TV show is a spoiler, so I can't talk about any of it, man. Just know it's that good. Like if you one of these like, oh no, man, I can't watch Game of Thrones, man. They got dragons and castles, and it's like some Dungeons and Dragons nerd shit. Nah, like Game of Thrones is worth the watch. I don't even try to keep up with every character because I got like my favorite characters are like the popular characters. Daenerys, Jon Snow, Arya, Tyrion, I mean, those are like my favorite characters right now because I want to see what happens with all their storylines. And not Reek, man. Like yeah, Reek, but I can't remember his actual name. Theon Greyjoy. I want to know what's about to happen with him too. And like man, like if you like villains in a show, man, like this show has some of the most dastardly, despicable characters ever put on screen. So if you're curious, man, definitely watch it, man. You'll I watch 3 episodes, and if you're not hooked, man, then just move on. At 4, I got The Walking Dead, and this is another one. You probably unsubscribed. You probably putting troll comments because this is another show that people just can't fathom how somebody wouldn't put it at their number 1. Another Game of Thrones tidbit. I think last season was my favorite season of all 6. I think that season 5 of The Walking Dead. I think if I remember correct, I think The Walking Dead season 5 was my favorite season of the whole show. Not a down, and I'm probably in the minority, but the Negan season, the season 6 of The Walking Dead was my least favorite season of that show. And like this is like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, man. Don't get attached to any characters because next thing you know, they ain't gonna be in the next episode. Just going into last season, just briefly, again in the minority, I'm not the biggest fan of the way that Jeffrey Dean Morgan portrayed Negan. He was forcing the jokes and forcing the quips. I don't know how Negan is in the comics, man, but I just felt Negan was trying too hard to be funny for the audience. Like a lot of these one-liners and a lot of these quotes, man, they're just I found them obnoxious, man. I think they'll come back strong with next season though. I still am super hyped to see what happens next year. At number 3, this is a little bit of a cheat. I don't care though. But this is my other Netflix property, and it's basically everything Marvel has put on Netflix. I love what they've done with Daredevil. I love what they did with Jessica Jones. I love what they did with Luke Cage. And I thought Iron Fist was fine. Iron Fist is definitely the weakest show they put out so far. But all for different reasons, man. Like, Daredevil has been my favorite hero. Jessica Jones had my favorite villain. And then Luke Cage was just dope because of the hip hop. And because like he was trying so hard to be so chill and just blend in, but then he had to step up and be the hero when the time came. But then what Luke Cage did with the villain, I was not a fan of. I mean, if you've seen it, obviously you know, man. Mahershala Ali, I hope I said that right. He was on the path, man. Like him and Luke Cage was like throwing jabs, man, and then they played the audience. I still like Luke Cage, man. I'll probably give it a 4.5 out of 5. And then the Defenders, man, like the Avengers, the team up of all the heroes. The Defenders on Netflix comes out in August. It's like my most anticipated TV show of the second half of the year. And then they're gonna John Bernthal with season 2 of Daredevil. The Punisher series comes out hopefully by the end of the year. The rumor is November. There hasn't been any confirmation. There probably won't be until Defenders comes out. And then next year I heard that we're supposed to get Daredevil season 3, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage season 2. I don't think Iron Fist has been greenlit for season 2. I don't see why they wouldn't though, just simply because my main disappointment with Iron Fist is that he never put on his suit. He had the big old dragon tattoo and shit like that, but he never had like the green sweatpants and the yellow bandana, and that's what I want to see out of Danny Rand. My number two is not a cheat, but I'm gonna talk about 2 shows. At number 2, I got Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is like the LeBron James of TV shows, man. Like in today's age, it's the dopest, it's the best, it's the best show that has been out in, I would say, the modern age of TV. Just the detail in the episodes and just the story, man. Like, I don't understand how don't nobody know what Breaking Bad is. Walter White, played by Bryan Cranston, gets diagnosed. He wants to leave his family some type of inheritance, I guess, so they're not stuck with like funeral and hospital bills. So he turns to cooking meth. He turns into selling it. He becomes the Scarface of meth. He, from jump, he brings one of his old students, Jesse Pinkman, with him, and it's a roller coaster, man. They get so in over their head, but it's so good, and just, like, so many great characters, man. With like, um, Hank, Mike Ehrmantraut, uh, Saul Goodman, Gus Fring. Um, the ending was satisfying too. Unlike like shows like Dexter, the ending was satisfying, which leads me to Better Call Saul. Like, I literally just caught up. Like, season 3 of Better Call Saul just ended, and I'm caught up. It's it's a really really good show. I would say it's not quite as good as Breaking Bad, but maybe by the time it wraps up, it can be closer to Breaking Bad's level. It's a completely different show, but if you're a fan of Breaking Bad and you're not watching Better Call Saul, I just need to know why. And then my number one, man, my favorite TV series of all time. There are a few, like, there's my pick, and then there are a few that I've heard are really epic. So maybe it's not that obvious. But my number one favorite TV show, favorite TV series of all time is The Sopranos. I just love it, man. Like, Tony Soprano, man, James Gandolfini, man, R.I.P. James Gandolfini. He's the head of this like mafia crime family, and he deals with that. But he's going through some medical things because with the combination of that and his own family, and he's going to therapy. And like, for the longest time, it's just, if anybody finds out I'm going to therapy, they think that I'm gonna be spilling the secrets, and then bada bing, bada boom, and I'm sleeping with the fishes. You know what I mean? And it lasts for like technically 7 seasons, but season 6 is like split in half. Like, HBO did that for a little while. They said they would split one season over 2 years. They did it with Entourage too. It was weird, and that's another show that had a strong possibility of making this list. Ari Gold, man, Ari Gold is one of the best characters ever on TV. But Sopranos, man, it's one of those every year. It's just interesting and interesting. It's got some annoying ass characters, like Tony's sister for one. His son, as he gets older, just becomes more obnoxious. And it's like, man, like, I know that's your son and everything, man. Like, he ain't inheriting the belt, man. He ain't inheriting the throne, man. Just go ahead and take him out, man. And it was like Paulie, Chris, Big Pussy. They're like, and then on his wife Carmela, Neighbors. Was the Bucco? What's the chef? The chef's last name, Archie Bucco, I think. And then like, cause he, you know what I'm saying, he's a mafia boss, man. So he got pulled everywhere, man. Everybody's intimidated by him just because of who he is. And once in a while he'll get humbled. And his mom, like, the actress, like, literally passed away, so that's unfortunate. But his mom was a horribly annoying character too. And then, I mean, it debuted in '99. It ended, I want to say, in '07, '06 or '07. And that's another one. Like, man, if you watch TV, like, you must watch The Sopranos. It's got one of those Inception kind of, make up your mind for yourself type endings. My wife hates it. I love it because I really don't care what happened either way. Because on one hand, this could have happened and it would have been deserved, but this could have happened and okay, press on. But man, because I talked about Dexter for so long, this video ran mad longer than I wanted it to, man. But give me a plethora, man. I want a list, man. What are some of your favorite TV shows ever? And keep it to series, man, because I want to rewatch, because I haven't in forever. I want to rewatch the entire series of Martin, and then I want to do sitcoms. So when dropping comments, man, no sitcoms, man, no Big Bang Theory, no Parks and Recreation, no Friends, no Seinfeld, no Cheers, no Mama's Family, All in the Family, the Jeffersons. I want like hour-long TV shows. And like, I was considering for this list, like Ballers, Vice Principals, Eastbound and Down, but those are like half hour and they're like mainly comedies, so I'm gonna save those for that list too. I've recently posted reviews for Transformers, for Cars 3, All Eyes on Me, for The Mummy, for Wonder Woman, Captain Underpants, man. Check those out. Coming soon, I got Baby Driver, hopefully. I got Despicable Me 3, The House, Spider-Man Homecoming, War for the Planet of the Apes. Man, July is so stacked. I'm going to have a movie-related movie talk for July. Haven't decided on what yet. Drop suggestions if you want. It's all welcome. I'll put the link in the description. I'll put the discount code in the description. But I'm still trying to slang these Ripped Apparel T-shirts, man. It is highly encouraged, man. If you're a nerd like me, like these pop culture type mashups, for example, Breaking Bad, Sin City, check it out, man. Get a little discount. And get some dope teas, man. And they got other stuff too. Like, subscribe, comment, man. Find me where you find me, man. Don't know where to find me, man. Watch these credits. Peace.